Welcome to Content Governance for Quinnipiac University by Krista Myers. Quinnipiac University has a wealth of information that needs constant and consistent management in order to reach the goals of the students, faculty, and university alike. So as a way to manage all of this unstructured data, I'm going to introduce the 4 content lifestyle stages to you. These stages help to ensure that the content is available and easy to understand throughout the life of the website. The 4 content lifestyle stages are request, create, manage, and retire. For this site, it's important to understand 3 things first: ownership information, business purpose, and the prerequisite education and resources needed in order to understand the content success criteria. Simple forms can solve a lot of these issues by ensuring that the system stays clean and relevant to students and faculty. So let's take a look at each element a little bit closer just so we can understand the full scope of the request phase. The first step in the request phase is ownership. In order to manage content consistently and maximize user experience, it's important to find out who's responsible for what. Once you know that, you can apply metadata to the content as a way to indicate the party or parties responsible. This helps the students and the prospective students locate the content quicker, and it also ensures that they get the information they're looking for. The business purpose step is a great way to filter out what's important for the students, prospective students, and the faculty alike, as well as what is not. So to start the filter process, you can use a simple online form in order to route the user-generated requests properly. For step 3 of the request phase, it's important to figure out which resources are needed for the scope of the project. Once these resources are outlined, the parties involved will be able to think critically about the skill sets and time frame needed in order to execute them. This can be accomplished with another online request from a forum that highlights the education requirements for the project. The 4th step in the request phase is success criteria. This step helps to determine if the content should stay or go depending on the goals set out for it. So let's say that a prospective student is looking at the requirements for an interactive media degree, but the curriculum recently changed in order to reflect two tracks instead of just one. Don't you think it's important that the student sees these updated changes before they commit to a $36,000 decision? Probably so. A good way to measure this is by setting a review date to check the content's progress against these original goals. Now that the content items have been addressed and outlined, it's time for phase 2 of content governance, to create. But first, you'll want to streamline the process of the workflow and security information in order to properly manage all of the details. In step 1 of the create phase, you'll want to determine access rights so that the content is only visible to the users it applies to. So for example, when a parent clicks on upcoming events, they certainly should not be asked for their student ID in order to view them. As a way to help streamline this, you should use features from the parent folder that have already been established for the project to incorporate metadata and security propagation. Default settings help to make these efforts easy for setup and maintenance, and they'll allow users to find things easier by only showing them what's relevant for their purposes. They're also helpful in running content reports. Step 2 of phase 2 is assign workflow. This is where you make sure that the content conforms to management and is within the legal and editorial requirements. It allows the users to comment on something that needs our attention. To do this, you'll be using Oracle's Universal Content Management System from the parent folders as a way to provide security, metadata, and workflow information of the project's content. Phase 3 is the management phase. This phase allows you to update the content and the metadata associated with it. This should be done on a quarterly basis by running reports against the metadata on items specific to the creator. So if an owner no longer is with the department, then the content should be reassigned accordingly. If the content is no longer necessary, it can be archived or even deleted. An Active Directory report should be created to run the content against the current creators in the directory as a way to help streamline this process. And by doing this, your repository and search collection will remain clean. Phase 4 of content governance is the retire phase. Here you can filter out content that's no longer relevant in order to keep the system clean for users to browse and search a little easier, and without the clutter of all the old stuff as well. You can do this by acting on pre-established metrics from the request phase. The content that doesn't meet the metrics from the request phase should probably be deleted. The metadata associated with the content helps you sort out and understand what to do with it. And you can even use Oracle's Universal Content Management to create savable lists that will help you manage the projects. So in conclusion, while it might be easy to produce content and throw it out there for everyone to see, maintaining that content can be difficult. The effort put forth in the request phase is a great starting point in keeping the content clean and relevant for the users and for the life of the content in the site. And keeping everything up to date, users can easily find what they're looking for. Thank you.